In November 2022, a company nobody had heard of quietly pushed something live on the internet.
ChatGPT, a language model created by OpenAI, has the ability to respond to prompts in a human-like manner.
Responding to prompts, that's what they said. Sure. It could also write code faster than a senior engineer pass the US medical licensing exam and trigger a company-wide emergency at the most valuable advertising business on Earth. The CEO of Google calling an emergency, and Wall Street repricing the entire tech industry because of it. 1 million users. In 5 days, 100 million in 2 months. The fastest consumer product adoption ever recorded. The people who built it found out how big this had gotten. The same way everyone else did. They saw it on Twitter. This is the business story of how ChatGPT exploded and why absolutely nobody saw it coming. To understand why nobody saw this coming, you need to understand what OpenAI actually was, because it did not look like a company that was about to reshape a trillion-dollar industry. 7 years of operation, a workforce of around 375 people, and a single major investor, Microsoft, which had put in $1 billion in 2019 and was quietly wondering when it would see a return. Think University Research Department, not Silicon Valley startup. That was OpenAI in 2022. ChatGPT was an internal research instrument, a simple chat interface built in weeks by a small team layered over an older model, designed to generate behavioral data. That was the job. Small team, modest goal. Nobody told them to move markets. They launched it as a research preview. Nobody expected the preview to become the most valuable launch in the company's history. Here is the architect of ChatGPT, Mira Murati, talking about the decision to release it to the public.
Had ChatGPT for a while, and we sort of hit a point where we could really benefit from having more feedback from how people are using it, what are the risks, what are the limitations, and learn more.
November 30th, Wednesday afternoon, the blog post goes live. No press briefing, no coordinated rollout, no enterprise sales motion, just a tweet from its CEO to try it out. People weren't impressed. They were unsettled. Because it didn't behave like a product, it behaved like a colleague. A programmer asks it to write code, working code, first try, commented and clean. A lawyer asks it to draft a contract clause. It drafts one, then flags the legal risk in the next paragraph. A consultant asks it to structure a business proposal. It does, in the format they would have used themselves. That last category is important. This wasn't a toy that wrote poems. It was doing knowledge work, the kind of work that billable hours get charged for, the kind of work that entire professional service industries are built on. And it was free. So they did what people do when something threatens to change their industry. They sent it to everyone they knew. Screenshots to colleagues, Slack messages to teams, forwarded links to managers. The product spread through professional networks simultaneously, finance people showing finance people, legal showing legal, engineering showing engineering, and OpenAI's go-to-market team had nothing to do with any of it. Because OpenAI didn't have a go-to-market team. Then the servers start failing. People screenshot the error messages, post the ChatGPT is at capacity page like it's a badge, because scarcity signals value. Every capacity warning was free marketing. Every outage was proof of demand. ChatGPT took only 2 months to hit 100 million monthly users. To put that in perspective, TikTok took 9 months, Instagram 30 months, and Pinterest 41 months.
There's this new AI chatbot going around where you can give it prompts, ask it questions, and it will talk back to you, and people are getting a little bit worried about it.
6 weeks after launch, the institutional response was already in motion. The New York City public school system, one of the largest in the United States, banned ChatGPT across all school devices and networks. Banks started restricting employee access on corporate systems. Law firms began updating their client disclosure policies. 6 weeks. But the institutional bans were a sideshow compared to what was happening in the professional services economy. McKinsey would later estimate that generative AI could automate work equivalent to trillions of dollars in annual labor across knowledge industries. Goldman Sachs put out a report suggesting 300 million jobs globally could be exposed to automation. Whether those numbers are precise or not, the direction was clear, and every professional watching ChatGPT in those first 6 weeks understood it before the reports were written. This wasn't a product that automated repetitive tasks that had been happening for decades. This was a product that automated judgment, analysis, communication, the things that justified the salaries. That realization, that specific fear, is what drove the adoption numbers. People weren't signing up because ChatGPT was fun. They were signing up because they needed to understand what it was going to do to their industry. "40 miles south, Google issues a company-wide code red. Their entire business model, $150 billion a year, runs on one behavior: people typing queries into a search box. ChatGPT doesn't have a search box. It has a conversation. No ads, no links, no reason to go to Google. So they panicked and rushed out their answer, a chatbot called Bard. In Bard's very first public demo, it got a basic astronomy question wrong. Google lost $100 billion in market cap that day. They didn't lose to a competitor. They lost to their own homework. By the end of 2023, $90 billion had poured into AI. Every major tech company had restructured around it. The entire industry had shifted. All of it triggered by a research experiment that was never supposed to leave the building. And here's the question nobody has fully answered yet. If the most consequential product launch in a generation was an accident, what happens when someone actually tries?